Lawsuit. Blackwater guards on steroids and other drugs. Steroids rampant among bodyguards, according to shooting victims' families. Washington. A lawsuit against Blackwater Worldwide alleges widespread use of steroids and other drugs by the contractor's workers in Iraq and accuses its bodyguards of abandoning their post shortly before taking part in a shooting in Baghdad that killed 17 Iraqi civilians. Filed this week in U.S. District Court in Washington, the complaint accuses North Carolina-based Blackwater of failing to give drug tests to its guards in Baghdad, even though an estimated 1 in 4 of them was using judgment-altering substances. The civil suit is based primarily on information provided by current and former Blackwater employees, according to one of the lawyers representing families of Iraqi civilians killed in the September 16th shooting in Baghdad's U.S.A. Square. Attorney Susan Burke, working as co-counsel with the Center for Constitutional Rights, told NBC News that current and former employees of Blackwater told her the firm has documentation to back up the suit's claim that at least 1 in 4 Blackwater guards was known to have used steroids or other mind-altering drugs. Burke acknowledged, however, that the plaintiffs have no information to indicate that any of the guards involved in the September shooting were on or known to have used steroids or any other drugs, although it's probable, if not possible. That would be possible. U.S. officials told NBC News that the purported documentation may be connected to reports that Blackwater has fired as many as 140 employees for violation of company policy. The lawsuit was filed Monday on behalf of 5 Iraqis who were killed and 2 who were injured in shootings that enraged the Iraqi government. The Justice Department is investigating whether it can bring criminal charges in the case. I don't see why not. Even though the State Department promised limited immunity to the Blackwater guards. Bodyguards allegedly deserted post. The 3 teams of an estimated dozen Blackwater mercenary bodyguards had already dropped off the State Department official they were tasked with protecting when they headed to U.S.A. Square, according to the lawsuit filed by lawyers working with the Center for Constitutional Rights. Blackwater and State Department personnel staffing a tactical operations center expressly directed the Blackwater shooters to stay with the official and refrain from leaving the secure area. The complaint says reasonable discovery will establish that the Blackwater shooters ignored those directives. Additionally, the lawsuit notes one of Blackwater's own shooters tried to stop his colleagues from indiscriminately firing upon the crowd of innocent civilians, but he was unsuccessful in his efforts. The civil complaint offers new details of the incident that has strained relations between the United States and Iraq, which is demanding the right to launch its own prosecution of the Blackwater mercenary bodyguards. DOJ still mulling charges. The Justice Department says it likely will be months before it decides whether it can prosecute the guards, and it is trying now to pinpoint how many shooters in the Blackwater convoy could face charges. A senior U.S. law enforcement official confirmed Tuesday that government investigators are looking at whether the Blackwater guards were authorized to even be in the square at the time of the shooting. No, probably not. Doesn't look that way. In an interview, Lead plaintiff attorney Susan L. Burt said private investigators turned up the new evidence through interviews with people in Iraq and the United States who would have reason to know. The civil lawsuit does not specify how much money the victims and their families are seeking from Blackwater. It should be a whole lot. We're looking for damages because the people who were killed were the breadwinners and their families, Burke said. We're looking for punitive in a manner that suffices to change the corporation's conduct. We have a real interest in holding them accountable for what was completely avoidable deaths. Let's call it like it is, murder. The lawsuit also accuses Blackwater-U.S.A. of routinely sending its guards into Baghdad despite knowing that at least 25% of them were using steroids or other judgment-altering substances or drugs. What kind of drugs? Yeah. Probably not good ones, huh? Attorneys estimated that Blackwater employs about 600, way more than 600 guards in Iraq, thousands. The company did not conduct drug testing of any of its shooters before sending them equipped with heavy weapons into the streets of Baghdad, the lawsuit states. Mercenaries, high on drugs, going crazy, shooting people. That don't look good on America. Nope, don't think so. Blackwater's contract with the State Department to protect diplomats in Iraq expires in May, and there are serious questions whether it will remain as a primary contractor for diplomatic bodyguards. The Iraqi Prime Minister al-Maliki has said his cabinet is drafting legislation that would force the State Department to replace Blackwater with another security company. The State Department declined to comment on the case Tuesday, citing standard policy on pending legal matters. Deputy spokesman Tom Casey referred questions on the matter to those involved in the lawsuit. Blackwater-U.S.A. mercenary assassins, high on drugs. That's a bad combination. What kind of signals are we sending to the people in other countries? Is this how we do things in America? Not good. This is not good. This is a sign of the last days, and there are many of them. Multitudes of them. Period.